What's going on, guys? So I wanted to do a quick video. This is Topanga. She is my Boa Imperator, or BI. A lot of times they are mistakenly called Colombian red-tailed boa constrictors, which is unfortunately not true. And I just wanted to do a video explaining some of the differences. I'm far from an expert, so if I miss anything, don't hesitate to let me know. But if you can look at her tail, you can see maybe why some people would mistake that for a red tail. It's more of an orange red, kind of brownish, and the bigger they get, they generally get a little more brown. This is my Guyana Boa Constrictor, or BC, and she is quote-unquote a true red tail. You can see the blood red. Let me get a comparison. I don't want to. You can see the blood red that she has compared to this. And if you look at their saddles, saddles aren't always a good way to tell. She's got the high peaks, the puzzle pieces, and the Batman symbols here, but she's actually got some peaks on her too, and some faces. So that's not always a way to tell, but really the tail can be a dead giveaway. I mean, it's just two different worlds, and I am not here to bash Boa Imperators. I absolutely love them. It was my first snake, my second snake, and my third snake, and they are an amazing first snake, hands down, and the care of them is pretty similar. The BI is west of the Andes. There's a natural barrier, and the BC is east of the Andes. So I typically keep the BI humidity between 70 and 75. Sometimes it goes up to 80, especially if they're in shed. The BC, I usually keep between 80 to 85%. You know, BCs have 2 seasons, the wet and the dry, so they can handle a lot more of a wet substrate, although you don't want it to be soaking wet all the time. You run the risk of scale rot. But they can definitely handle a decent amount of moisture. Excuse me, moisture in the enclosure. As far as feeding goes, I keep it pretty similar. I try to find a prey item that is as thick as the snake's largest part of their body, and feed them appropriately. Mice, when they're younger, I usually do every 10 to 14 days. Once they get to weaned rats, I start at 14 days, and as they get bigger, I spread it out more. It really varies based on the snake, but you really don't want to overfeed these animals. They can get obese, and it'll shave 10 to 20 years off their lives at least. When feeding the BCs, I tend to feed a little bit smaller than I would the BI because they can be prone to regurgitation. But I mean, their care is real similar. I would argue that if you do the proper research, which unfortunately a lot of people don't do, but if you do the proper research, you can definitely care relatively easily for both these animals. But you're gonna spend the money. Don't be cheap when it comes to their heat source, their humidity. If the humidity's too low, you risk giving them a respiratory infection. If the temperatures are off, you risk respiratory infection. If you feed improper sized prey, they can get obese and again die. So I'm gonna jump over here. She's climbing up the stairs, but yeah. So I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of the difference. I'm not sure exactly when this happened, but there's been a lot of debate recently if the BI is even a subspecies of boa constrictor anymore. It used to be BCI and BCC, boa constrictor, and boa constrictor imperator. And it seems now that there's enough genetic evidence to show that the BCI is no longer a subspecies of boa constrictor. It's about a 5 to 7% difference, I believe. If I got that wrong, please don't hesitate to tell me about it. But instead of boa constrictor imperator, it's now just boa imperator and boa constrictor. But that's about it, guys. I just wanted to show you a quick video so you guys could see the differences. I know there are more differences, scale count. If you look at their head, the BC usually has more of a long, pointy head. So there are more differences, but I mean, if you look, you can really just see just the color here. And I really want to stop seeing people get ripped off. This snake is absolutely worth buying, and if you thought that you were getting a red tail and you didn't, don't be upset. It's an amazing snake, and you can always add a true red tail down the line. These guys don't get, I think, as much love as they should. They are one of my favorite snakes, although I do have a new place in my heart for the BC. But these are the differences, guys. If you guys like what you see, please don't hesitate to comment, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. If you have any questions or concerns, tell me about it in the comment section below. All right, thanks, guys.